Hello, I'm Metacrisismewalpha and welcome to my Pokemon Fire Red playthrough. Now, in this game I don't intend to sit here and show you where absolutely everything is found, like all the secret items that are hidden around, or even where all the Pokemon are that you can catch. It's just going to be me playing through this game, having a laugh, and hopefully you will as well. I've already got a team planned out, for the most part. Not going to tell you what they are though. The thing is though, there will be a Charizard appearing, just probably not how you expect it. So obviously there's the beginning of the game, one that I've seen many a time before. I've actually been playing Pokemon since I was really, really young. In fact, it's one of the first games I really remember playing properly, besides maybe Mario and, for some reason, Lion King on the Super Nintendo. So, gonna go in, input my name, which is Mia. Actually, we'll go with Meta. It's a bit more of a name. So your name is Meta. Yes, it is. And the obligatory rival character, who in this case we're gonna call Crisis, because God only knows that his life is going to be a crisis. It kind of says something that Oak doesn't even remember his grandson's name. It's a bit of a dick move, Oak. Seriously. Oh well, at least we're finally starting this thing. So, start off in your bedroom. Now, this is what I've always found weird about Pokemon. I'm not a trainer, but I have a potion. Which makes me question, what do people use potions for if you're not a trainer? We'll ignore that fact. Just before we start up, I am going to quickly change the options, so I'll be back in a second. And we're back. Just change the text speed to fast. I changed the borders around, if you can see there, just to make it a little bit more personalised. And now, let's get on the road. Let's get going. So obviously, the main point of this game, if you've never played Pokemon before, you are a trainer. You get your first Pokemon from this Pokemon professor. You go out, you catch other Pokemon, become the champion. You beat gym leaders along the way, who are trainers who specialise in a single type of Pokemon, and they get harder as you go. You fight with trainers, you get money, you buy stuff, like Pokeballs for catching Pokemon. Yeah, it's a good game. The 3 starter Pokemon are Bulbasaur, who normally said is the game on easy mode. There's Squirtle, who's kind of the all-rounder really. And then there's Charmander, who is the game on quote-unquote hard mode until it evolves into Charizard, in which case you mess everything's day up. However, I'm going to go with Bulbasaur. Partly because I always start with Squirtle. Like, always start with Squirtle. Water types being my favourite type. Charmander, as much as I love Charmander, I would see it's a bit of a cop-out because Charizard is so powerful. Also, there are other fire types in this game who I prefer, which you'll be seeing later. Now, this Bulbasaur is female, so think of a nickname for it. Another thing in this game is you have the opportunity to nickname Pokemon. Some people do, some people don't. Me personally, I always nickname a Pokemon. So I'm gonna go with Rosie, who, fun fact, is the name of my cat. And of course, Crisis is going to be a dick munch, and he's going to take Charmander because it's super effective. Because this game would only be easy if he went for Squirtle. So, let's go. Oh, of course, he wants to battle because that's just what Crisis is like. So this is a Pokemon battle. Obviously, you send your Pokemon out to battle each other. Basically, glorified dogfights with animals who harness the elements, which Peter would have a field day with, or Petter, however you call it. So you got your two, well, at the moment we've got our two base types of move. You've got Tackle, which does damage, and you've got Growl, which does stat reduction. Sometimes you get attacks that increase your own stats. Sometimes you get attacks that increase enemy stats. For the sake of this fight, we're just going to go with an all-out smacking Charmander around the face. Now that's a stat reduction. Using Growl to lower my attack, which means Tackle's not going to do as much damage, which is a massive pain in my arse. And it already looks like Charmander's going to beat me, which sucks, because Charmander is strong, and one more hit and I'm down, unless I manage to pull a critical out the bag. Oh yeah, he beat me, of course. Problem with this fight, I probably could have used the potion, but I really do want to save it. So yeah, that happened. It's not the first time I've ever lost this beginning fight, and I've not only lost this beginning fight in this game, I've lost it in many different games, spanning across the Pokemon franchise. Obviously it's a game, it's a battle even, where you start out, you're pretty much some of the worst moves in the game. It's basically all based on your speed and your stats, which, let's have a look at actually. So, let's have a look at. So she's relaxed in nature, she's grass poison type. Those are her stats there. Not very low attack, but for what we needed it was low. Good special attack and special defense though. This game's grass moves, back before they actually changed them to be independent of whether they used attack or special attack, all grass moves in this generation are special attack. So that's good for us, because it means that Rosie's special attacks are going to be really powerful as she grows. Not so good because it means her actual tackle attack, until she gets something else, is going to be really useless. So it just means a lot of off-screen training for me until we get a nice decent moveset. The good thing about Bulbasaur is, why it's said to be easy mode, is it's super effective against the first two gym leaders. It's got type resistance against the next two, well, possibly next three depending how you play the game. It's only weak against two, and then the last gym it's also super effective, of course. So it's pretty easy sailing. It's really when you get to the Pokemon League with a Bulbasaur that you start worrying, but obviously by that point it's not a Bulbasaur if you evolve it, and you've got a crack job team backing it up. I really don't want to have to use a potion, so please don't die. Well, this playthrough turned violent really quickly. First Charmander, and now Pidgey. I'm gonna pause it here, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna get to the next town, and when I see you next I'll be back at Oak's Lab, so I'll see you in a bit. And we're back. So all I did there was I went and I trained up Rosie a little bit for a start. I also went and got Oak's Parcel from Viridian City, which is the next city up, which allows us to progress with the storyline, as you'll see in a minute. We get the trademark Pokedex, which is an encyclopedia that Professor Oak created, which basically allows you to get data on any Pokemon that you see, which isn't necessarily true in the games. In the games, it's actually on Pokemon you capture, which is why you need Pokeballs and where the slogan "Gotta catch them all" came from. I've done a couple of games where I've actually went around and caught every Pokemon, evolved every Pokemon. It's a lot of hard work, as you can imagine. But that aside, I'm not going to do that in this game, because this game is simply about going through, getting the team I want, training up my Pokemon, and just getting to the end with a single team, really. Maybe a couple of HM slaves here and there, which are Pokemon that you don't really have in your team permanently, but you just use HMs on to get around. Go into Crisis' house and get a town map from his sister, like he told us not to, because we're rebels. On talk of catching Pokemon and training, I'm not actually gonna show all of my training up of Pokemon. Going from route to route, definitely. I'll probably end up just quickly rushing through the routes, doing the trainer battles on screen. But apart from that, any extra training is going to be done off screen, unless it's a Pokemon that I want to capture, in which case you will be around to witness. Because it'll be nice for you to see me catching my team on screen. That aside, I think that's where I'm going to wrap this episode up. I'll quickly get back to Viridian City, and I think that's where I'm going to end this episode. So, we got our partner Pokemon, we trained her up a little bit, we delivered Oak's parcel, we're going to talk to this guy who before wouldn't let me pass. He's going to show me how to catch Pokemon. I do know how to catch one, but obviously game tutorials. So yeah, I think that's about where I'm going to wrap this episode up. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it's been a bit slow, but it's the beginning of the game. It will pick up pace eventually. I've been Metacrisismewalpha. This has been my Pokemon Fire Red Let's Play. And I hope to see you again in part 2. Let's see if the old guy can get the Weedle. Yay! If only I should be so lucky catching my Pokemon in full health.